Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning back into my channel, guys. The #1 undisputed boxing YouTube channel, right? Guys, it's Danny Jacobs, the Miracle Man, against Carl Froch, Carl the Cobra Froch, 86 rated Carl Froch against 84 rated Danny Jacobs. But guys, as I've said before, I don't believe Danny Jacobs plays like an 84 rated character. I think he's actually an underrated beast, just like Nigel Benn. And generally, I try to be fast with the Danny Jacobs because he has pretty fast hands. And I've tried to use Carl Froch in the past, and he's just a little awkward. I still haven't seen. I think I've seen one of his fights. I saw some highlights. I'm not gonna say I wasn't impressed. I think maybe it was a fight when he was a bit earlier in his career. So, Danny Jacobs versus Carl Froch on ranked. I get rocked with I think it was a right hook. Guys, before I get into any of my complaints, like power punches, obviously we know that they are unbalanced. Are they unbalanced? I think they're unbalanced. Well, so far it seems like they're unbalanced. The sound effects are great. They sound powerful, but sometimes it seems like they don't do much. Okay. And like that power punch, it seems like nothing happened, but I feel like Danny Jacobs is a little underappreciated. I know he fought against Canelo Alvarez back in, what, 2018, I think? No, 2019, I believe. Pretty good fight. Obviously, Canelo won. Didn't knock down or knock out Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs held his own. And I was actually very impressed after Danny Jacobs' fight against Triple G. That's what pretty much introduced a lot of boxing fans to Danny Jacobs. Who was obviously a middleweight legend, or is a middleweight legend. I don't know, Triple G also gets a lot of hate, and I can't wait for Triple G to be added to this game. But one other thing, I know this game, they have a lot of attention to detail. I know they're spending, and I know they're taking their time developing the boxers and the models of the characters, everything that has to do with the game. And so I'm looking forward to the new boxers. I appreciate the attention to detail. But they just added Bam Rodriguez, Jesse Bam Rodriguez to the game. Power left straight by Danny Jacobs. Guys, I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out the layout of these videos because, as you guys can tell, they lowered the amount of rounds from 12 to 8 because I think 12-round fights is pretty long, guys. 3 minutes, 3 times 12, what, 5,000, right? 5,000 minutes a fight. It just seemed a little long, right? 12 rounds every time. I mean, I guess I was reading some comments. Some people liked it. Some people want the 12-round fights back. I think eight's a good balance. It adds it encourages the players to be more active, but then again that sort of changes the game, right? You know, it's boxing. Well, is it boxing? Danny Jacobs is one of those characters in this game that I believe is very underrated. I don't believe he plays like an 84 rated character. I think he plays like an 85, not quite 86. Carl Froch plays like an 86 character, but I think what's his name? Nigel Benn, who's also an 86 rated character. He plays like an 89 rated character, guys. He hits like a tank. And Danny Jacobs, he's comparable to Nigel Benn. I would say he's a less durable, faster, but a weaker Nigel Benn. He can take less punishment. He can punch much faster. I don't know if I'm going to say much faster, but I think his combination speed is up there. even though Danny Jacobs has that trait where if you throw more than a one-punch combination, even though is there such thing as a one-punch combination? Isn't it just one punch? Isn't a combination more than one? I don't know, but he has that trait where if you throw more than, I guess, 2 punches, let's say, they start each consecutive punch gets weaker by 3%. It either gets weaker by 3% or slower by 7%. Something like that, guys. I don't know if it's weaker or slower. I might flash it on the screen for you guys, but that's another thing. Checking out the individual traits of every character, that you should be doing that. That should be a given. You guys should be doing that unless you have already memorized their individual traits. And we rock Carl Froch. I start to taunt him. We move on to the next round, and I'm actually leading, guys, 3 rounds to nothing. According to CompuBox, it seems like we're gonna ride off into the sunset, but not so fast, guys, because like I said, well, actually I haven't said this. I believe that it is very difficult, almost impossible, to use a lower rated character, a much lower rated character, for example, Danny Jacobs, who's 84, against someone like Roy Jones Jr., 90, I believe 91 or 92 rated in the middleweight division. And they added that new 1993 version of Roy Jones Jr. if you pre-ordered the game, I believe, who I've used, by the way, and I've used him once. I didn't feel much of a difference versus using the regular version of Roy Jones Jr., the original version, but then again, it was just one time, and I didn't finish the bout because I hate boxing, fighting against characters that are, or players that are using the same characters as I'm using. I'm not sure if I knocked this guy down. Yeah, I'm not sure. And that's another thing, guys. This game has been in development for so long. I was reading some things online, some YouTube comment sections on different Undisputed boxing videos. It looks like people are being very negative. They're losing hope. They think that a lot of time has passed, and we're not getting a lot of transparency and updates, consecutive updates, from the developers of Undisputed. But I think overall, I think they're doing a good job. Into the 5th round. I agree that, I agree, guys. There should be 8 rounds, not 12. That's way too many rounds. Because like I said, I was reading in the comment section. People want Undisputed to implement 12-round fights again. I think that's just way too long. Knocking Carl Froch with a left hook. No, I don't think it was a power left hook. He's caught on the right side of his face. Guys, I've said this before. I believe I upload the most exciting Undisputed boxing fights on YouTube. Knocking down Carl Froch in what? Are we in the 5th right now? He ends up getting up. He's not gonna get up from the first knockdown. That rarely happens. I don't think that ever happens with any boxers in this Undisputed video game. Into the 6th round, guys. This video, as you can tell, is quickly coming to an end because, as I alluded to earlier, it is very difficult, guys, to use a lower rated character versus a higher rated character. Albeit, let's say 10 rankings, but still, I have difficulty beating characters that are maybe even 2 to 3 rankings higher. And maybe that's operator error. Maybe that's because I'm not that skillful. I'm on the back foot here, as you guys can tell. Well, what do you want me to do? There's really nothing else I can do. Well, there is one other strategy that I can implement. I could start spamming the pushing animation, which is actually a major issue right now. That is actually a comment that I read earlier this week. And it's actually something that I experienced in the last video that I uploaded. I was going to knock down that Nigel Benn player with Canelo Alvarez, but he successfully defended himself by pushing. My gosh. These... I must admit, I love the way the power punches sound. It sounds like a crash. It sounds very similar to the way power punches would sound in Fight Night Round 3. I'm not sure how many of you played Fight Night Round 3. Very good game. Oh, do you guys see that little red circle with a slash through it? That means I cannot do loose movement anymore. Does anyone have an idea what would cause that to happen? Getting knocked down by a power punch by Carl Froch. I'd have to do research. I'd have to watch many of Carl Froch's fights to give an informed opinion on what I think about him. One thing that I can tell you is I don't enjoy using him in this game because he doesn't seem to carry a lot of power. But that power does seem to affect lower-rated characters such as Danny Jacobs, as I get rocked by a right hook to the head. Power right, it seemed like a right straight to the face, because I was blocking my body. Guys, we are not going to survive. Yeah, no, so I'm probably going to get knocked out. Guys, please like, subscribe, comment down below any suggestions, any thoughts that you might have. It's a really close fight. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.